Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. Boog Nice coming at you with the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure Wave Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Alright, here we go. Calvin Zabo, aka Mr. Hyde, whose first appearance was in Journey into Mystery number 99 in December of 1963. Created by writer Stan Lee and artist John Heck, Mr. Hyde is actually the superpowered alter ego of Calvin Zabo. In his base form, he appears as a medical researcher. He has genius level intellect and an extensive knowledge of biochemistry. Originally from Trenton, New Jersey, his intellect and his sort of strange obsession with the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde led him to do experiments with human hormones and the human physiology, and as his name implies, he was trying to replicate the Mr. Hyde persona from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which he did, and that granted him super strength, stamina, durability. You know how it goes in the comic books. So Mr. Hyde here has had a pretty long, extensive history of publication in Marvel Comics. He's battled with some notable characters like Thor, Spider-Man, Daredevil, and this is our very first time getting this character in the Marvel Legends line. A welcomed addition in my opinion, long overdue. The Legends team went with a classic look for Mr. Hyde. I know there's a lot of different versions according to which artist is illustrating him at the time, but I'm happy they went with this look. It's decent. You know my issue though, you didn't get any additional heads or hands in any of the pack-ins from the individual characters for this wave, and I do like this head sculpt. It is a great representation of the character, but again, with these bigger figures, I think that an extra head at the very least should be mandatory. And although this is a new character in the line, this buck originally is based on the Kingpin Build-A-Figure, and then they modified that, some of those parts a little bit, and gave us the Gamerverse Joe Fixit Hulk Build-A-Figure, and now we have Mr. Hyde here. Again, some reused parts, but obviously some brand new things as well. They did some different things with the upper torso and the bow tie. Obviously the head sculpt is all new. The hands are different. Some really nice details on the fingernails. They look chipped and mangled and what have you, but it would have been nice to get some paint on those fingernails, dry brushing some black marks or something like that. Obviously that's something that you can do on your own, but if you look closely you can see some fine details on the back of his hand. There's hair there. You know, he kind of looks almost ape-like in his features, and yes, the hands are removable like they were for Kingpin and for Joe Fixit Hulk, so maybe down the line somewhere we can get some additional hands for this guy. That would be cool. So aside from his cane, which was packed in with Win Woo in this wave, you don't really have much else with Mr. Hyde here. You needed all 6 figures to complete this Build-A-Figure in a wave, a kind of topsy-turvy wave here, as you have 4 characters from the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings movie, 1 Gamerverse character in Civil Warrior, and 1 comic-based character in the AI Iron Man or AI Tony Stark. And then once you got all of those figures, you were able to build another comic-based character in Mr. Hyde here. So yeah, pretty ridiculous ensemble here with the all green suit, but I mean, again, it is accurate to a look in the comic books, and it was a great reuse of this buck in my opinion. My man is looking like a 1930s pimp or something like that. And it should be noted that the head sculpt is all one piece. You can't remove the hat. I mean, you could if you applied some heat, but the hair sculpt is not through and through there. I assume he'd have like a bald spot or just a blank sort of spot underneath the hat. And real quick, in terms of articulation, you saw that the head was on the ball joint. It is going to be hindered quite a bit, but you can rock it back and forth on that joint. You know, as far as forward goes, you could kind of half it on the joint too, as long as he can look down. You know, the bigger figures being able to look down is really what you need, what you want. He's not going to look up as much. You can turn him left to right. You can pivot. You know, you can get some expression out of it, but it is going to be hindered a bit as far as going up. Shoulders on a ball joint, it'll come up just that far. You can do a full 360. Single hinged elbow that will rotate on that hinge as well. Swivel in the hinge on the wrist. Same thing on both sides as far as the arms and the hands go. You do get some ab articulation. There is an ab crunch in there. The jacket and the undercoat is all one piece, and then the white shirt and the suspenders under there are a separate part. You can turn them at the waist. T-joint at the pelvis. Legs are going to come up just that far. Not the greatest range there. Upper thigh swivel. Single hinge knee. You get a hinge, a slight hinge on the foot, and a slight pivot. See, he's rocking the hard bottoms. So yeah, really limited articulation, but still a decent BAF in my opinion. And there he is with his predecessors on the left and right. So on the left is the Kingpin Build-A-Figure with the additional head that was packed in with the Ultimate Riders Professor X, so that way you can build Shadow King. And shout out to my man Super Tom Customs, because I'm actually literally right now about to purchase his Shadow King kit. Well, his powered down version of Shadow King. Something should be popping up here, so I'll be able to mod this Build-A-Figure a little bit and give him a powered down look. Really excited about that. And then on the right is the Gamerverse Joe Fixit Hulk Build-A-Figure. Hopefully we'll be getting an official comic based Joe Fixit Hulk at some point, but that's how those three stack up. But again, some of the same parts, so you can do silly things like this and that. And real quick, while we playing around, I've never done this. I'm sure people have done this already, but this is the 80th anniversary gray Hulk head and hands on the Gamerverse Fixit Build-A-Figure. And I was hoping that this would work, but this is the hat that actually came on the old Toy Biz Joe Fixit Hulk. Doesn't quite fit. I would have to rip the hat from the Gamerverse version from that head and utilize the hat by itself here for this version for my own little makeshift Joe Fixit Hulk that looks angry. Maybe I'll just try to get another whatever figure was packed in with the head and just do that. Maybe I will do that, but moving on. And I was thinking here in terms of like a transformation, but the pegs don't really match up. The pegs for the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure, those wrist pegs are a little larger than those for Mr. Hyde here, so it's just kind of resting in there. If I move that arm, it'll fall out. But there he is next to Sasquatch. You know, some bigger figures here. This is the Sdcc Hulk that I actually just got recently and just opened for the first time. Well, I had one originally that is still on ice, but I was able to snag one from Hasbro Pulse about a month ago. And a couple of other bigger figures, Build-A-Figure sized figures. The deluxe box set Thanos on the left, and the 2-pack Juggernaut, which is based on the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure. This is the one that came with Colossus though, by the way. I bet we're gonna get a shirtless Colossus soon, now that they teased that shirtless Wolverine. I bet you we'll get a Outback style Colossus as well. And there's a quick look at the full wave together. Like I said, you only need 6 figures to complete this Build-A-Figure, but you do need all 6 figures in the wave. Little something for everybody, I guess. If you are a fan of the MCU figures, then you have 4 in this wave, and you can also pick up the Target exclusive Katie. If you're a Gamerverse dude, then you got Civil Warrior, and if it's all about the comic based figures, then you have Iron Man with the incentive to build the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. Now, like I said, I would have liked to see an additional head sculpt, maybe something more neutral, maybe something without the hat and some additional hands, but this is something we're gonna have to work out with Hasbro in terms of accessory packs and add-ons and different things they can do in the future to make some already existing figures and Build-A-Figures better. And now that I'm really thinking about it and I've gone through this whole overview or review here, I do kind of wish they went with a different look for Hyde. I'm okay with it. It is a good BAF, it's a good reuse, but it would have been nice for something a little more recognizable in terms of his real classic first appearance, or how most people would envision Hyde and how he looks when they think about him. So I didn't stack up Hyde here with Thor or Spider-Man or Daredevil, because I'm definitely going to be getting back on the display table very shortly, and I'll save those for some displays. I got a huge pile of loot coming from Big Bad Toy Store and a bunch of cool things planned out in terms of displays. And yes, main course. I'm working on main course. I'll try to have one out soon. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell down there. And until next time, peace.
I'm a night creature that like to wake up early, so I barely sleep, even when I put the beats on your freak. Soon as I skeet, I get back in the street. Shorty like the layup. I told her, hun, I'm on a 10-year run, and I like to stay up, load the K up, cause the game crazy.